Let's discuss about magnetic substances. Basically, this is a magnet. You try to bring it near some iron pieces, small chips. What will this magnet do? It will attract it. So there are basically three types of substances. They are called ferromagnetic substances, paramagnetic substances, and diamagnetic substances. Ferromagnetic substances are strongly attracted when brought near the magnet. Examples are iron, cobalt, nickel. Paramagnetic substances, they are weakly attracted. Examples: aluminium, platinum, sodium. Diamagnetic substances, they weakly repel. Examples: copper, zinc, silver, gold, etc. Now why they do so, that we will see. Depending upon shape, magnets are of two types. One is called a bar magnet. It resembles a rectangular shape, and there is a U-type magnet also. It is called horseshoe magnet. Fundamentally, magnets come under two categories. One is natural magnets and the second one is artificial. Artificial means man-made. For natural magnet, a lodestone is an example. Artificial again can be broken down into permanent and temporary. In the previous videos we have studied about, if you remember, solenoid, wherein there is a loop of wire and a strong magnetic field is created inside the solenoid. We have discussed. If I try to keep a ferromagnet inside, so what will happen? That substance will be strongly magnetized. So for some time it will behave like a strong magnet. When I remove the current, it stops behaving like that. So that is an example of temporary magnet. It behaves like a temporary magnet. Till the time the current is there, it behaves like a magnet. When no current, it doesn't behave like a magnet. So these come under the artificial category. Now, in the behavior, if you study what is the difference in these three means, if you take an external magnetic field, for illustration I have taken 5 magnetic lines. In dia, no magnetic line passes through inside the substance. 0 lines pass through. In fact, it repels actually. It happens because there is an induced magnetic field which is in the reverse direction. In para, out of these 5 lines, maybe 1 or 2 lines will enter this substance. It will try to weakly attract. But when it comes to ferro, all the 5 lines will pass through this. It will, inside the substance, the magnetic field lines will be very dense. So this is the difference in their behavior pattern. Now why it happens means, if you go at very subatomic level, inside atom what is happening? There is a nucleus and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So if an electron is revolving around the nucleus in a circular path or a orbital in some orbit, okay, what happens? It's like a current carrying loop. So we have studied that a current carrying loop itself behaves like a magnet. It behaves like a small magnet with its own north and south pole. So in this situation, what happens? If you take any magnetic material, it has got billions of atoms. So it has got, billions of atoms having similar property. So if you see dia, para and ferro, I have represented that with arrows. In dia, these arrows are, we are calling it as domains. So these are in random fashion. So this arrow indicates, the tail indicates the south and head indicates the north, and that is the magnetic field line. So if you see in a diamagnetic substance, the net B value is equal to 0, whereas in para it is not 0, it is slightly more than that. In ferro it is quite more than that, quite more than 0. Okay, their physical structure is like that. Okay, So these domains behave as tiny magnets. You can say that a ferromagnet basically is a group of large number of tiny magnets. So when you bring a magnet near a ferromagnet, let us say, what happens is there is a realignment of these domain lines. I told you that this domain is represented by south to north. This arrow indicates the tail is south and the head is the north. What will happen when you put a magnet before this? The south will be attracted by the north, and similarly there will be a realignment of their structure. So here you can see, so there is a realignment of magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines always are from north to south. So this is my induced magnetic field. It is in the same direction of external magnetic field. So the total magnetic field is BE plus BI in the case of ferromagnets. The magnetic field become even more stronger. So diamagnets kind of reduces B, but ferromagnets increases B. Okay. So this is the reason why this type of pattern is observed. One more way of understanding this is if you take a U-tube and you put a diamagnetic solution, and this solution, the height of the solution in the left and the right limb, it is same. When you try to bring a magnet near this left limb, it is observed that this liquid is repelled by this magnet, and thereby the height in the right limb increases in a diamagnet. Whereas when you bring a paramagnet, it slightly attracts the paramagnetic solution, and the height in the left limb increases. Whereas in a ferromagnet, it increases by tremendous amount. This is also a difference in behavior pattern that is observed physically. So coming back to this permanent magnet in an artificial category, if I take a molten iron, okay, which is in a liquid state, and I pass current through it, and I maintain the current till such a point that this molten state converts into solidified state, then what will happen? The inside structure will be realigned like this permanently. So this magnet becomes a permanent magnet. Okay, now understood the difference between temporary and permanent. So if it solidifies and stays in this state forever, it becomes a permanent magnet. If it is just current is passed for some time and removed, it behaves like a temporary magnet. But in both cases they were artificial, they were man-made, right? In lodestone, this type of structure is there in nature by itself. That's why it behaves like a natural magnet.